Right then, hello everybody, what is up, it's Eddie and Eddie, and welcome to a video on the channel. We are ranking every championship team's transfer window. I was thinking about doing every individual signing, but that is, I think, over 100 players. Each club pretty much made over 10 signings, or well, we'll run about roughly 8-ish, and that would definitely equivalent over 100. But anyway, really hope you guys are all doing good as well. If any guys are new around here, please drop a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments on your thoughts on your club's transfer window as well. You know, where you guys think you can maybe improved on, players you might want to have kept, or players that you think maybe you should have tried to bring in that would change with other clubs. Let me know. But anyway, we're going to kick it off with Swansea City. Didn't have the greatest start the transfer window originally. A load of clubs making loads of signings. Swansea were very quiet, but they done well to keep a few of their players. You know, I know Nathan Wood was heavily linked to move to Southampton for about, I can't remember how much the fee was. I think it was about 10 million, but they wanted to keep him. Unfortunately, they did lose Joel Piru, you know, towards the end of the window. Unfortunately, going to Leeds, but however, they did get a massive amount of money on it. They didn't really spend a lot this window. Obviously, they lost Sven Bender as well, but they brought in, you know, some decent quality. You know, Jamal Lowe, you know, decent forwards, really successful. Last time at Swansea, Joshua Key, you know, he is a really good fullback joining from Exeter. You also look at that Ukrainian fellow they've signed. I can't tell you a lot about him, but I've seen a few clips of him and he does look very good. A bit of a strange signing, but still as a signing that paid off. So, I think I think they've had an okay window. I think they've had okay. They've lost, obviously, quality. They've tried to replace. So, I'm going to put them in the okay section. Okay, next one is Ipswich Town. Not really a lot of money spent on Ipswich Town this transfer window. A lot of loanees. Dane Scarlett and Omari Hutchinson are the main ones. They've done well to keep hold of, you know, some of their players, which they got promoted with. Obviously, West Burns was linked to a championship club. Same with Connor Chaplin. He was heavily linked to moves away. Unfortunately, injuries haven't been the best. Obviously, for Ipswich, I think they were looking to bring in a goalkeeper, but obviously Walton got injured, but Herdecki has had a great start of the championship season. I think another club that's going to go in the okay section. I'd like to see a little bit more from Ipswich's transfer window. I'd like to see a little bit more. They kept hold of Leif Davis as well, I think he's a key player. Right, and yeah, put them in okay. Okay, now we want to Leeds United. Is this an L window or is it missing players? Because they did bring in players. Obviously, Jane Anson, they brought him on loan on deadline day after, you know, the deal with, you know, Sinisterra went through. So loads of players left, like Sinisterra went out on loan. Tyler Adams left. Rodrigo left. Cody Dramere left. You know, but yeah, they brought in the likes of Carl Darlow, Sam Byram, Joe Roden. Definitely trying to strengthen that defence. But yeah, I do think that when they brought in that Werder Bremen, well, they did have a bit of a busy deadline day, you know, signing that Werder Bremen CDM Ilham Grev, Hungarian CDM, but I still think they're missing a few players. I feel like they were after a striker. They still do have Giovanni Ruta at the club. I feel like they need another forward, the amount of injuries they got. Maybe potentially a right back. Obviously, they went in for Max Aaron, so unfortunately that deal fell through. And they did sign Jed Spence, actually, which completely just went out of my mind right there. But I still feel like they've gone into the window, which it makes sense. A relegated Premier League club weaker, and I still think they needed to do a lot more. I think defensively they're looking okay. Offensively, I kind of am actually struggling to see where the goals would come from. Okay, Leicester City, a club which I think, considering, you know, like I said, a lot of players were linked to moves away. They've done really well to keep some of their key players, like Faze, you know, the Belgian centre-back, Ricardo Pereira's still there, and Ndidi, you know, and they brought in some great players, like Harry Winks, probably one of the best ball-playing midfielders in the league, along with loads of other players, like I'm trying to think right now. Callum Doyle, you know, is on loan from Manchester City. Could play left back, you know, left centre back as well. Solid player. That Danish goalkeeper Hermansen, who's a fantastic goalkeeper, probably one of the best, you know, potential goalkeepers, you know, in Europe when he was with that Danish club. Really high praise of him. So, yeah, I feel like it's been a dub window for Leicester. Obviously, they have lost quite a few players. You should expect, though, some of the players that left have done well to keep the likes of Iheanacho. They were trying to offload Daka, but unfortunately, the deal fell through them to Bournemouth. But, yeah, I think it's been a dub window for Leicester City. Really, dub window. Stefan Mavidi as well, you know, very talented winger. I'd expect him to play in the Premier League, to be honest. But yeah, really good move. Next one is Millwall. They kept Fleming, which I'm not going to lie, I think is already a massive dub. You know, give his name Fleming. Heavily linked to a Premier League clubs, Bournemouth, Burnley, you know, Sheffield United, Luton were all interested in Zane Fleming, but Millwall done well to keep him. One of Millwall's probably, if not, no, their best player, Millwall. Jake Cooper obviously signed a contract extension, that was quite key. They made a lot of interesting signings. Alan Campbell, Ryan Longman. They signed some striker from the Belgian league who looks a bit like George Saville. And yeah, I wouldn't say it's been an amazing window. Obviously signing Wes Harding as well. I wouldn't say it's been an amazing window. It's been okay. They did lose George Long, however. However, they do have Matej Sarkic, which is another new signing. So I would say it could have gone better, but it still is, I think, in the dub. I think it's between this. Me saying could have gone better isn't saying it's been a bad window, just a few more additions, and I felt like they could have done really well. Norwich. Honestly, I think Norwich have had a dub window, in my opinion. You know, keeping the likes of Gabriel Sara and Nunes, both players heavily linked to Premier League clubs. They did lose Andrew Ombamadeli, but then again, he didn't necessarily play a lot, you know, towards the, you know, tail end of the season, last season, also the start of this season. They kept the likes of Jonathan Rowe as well. They brought in Ashley Barnes, who is a goal-scoring striker at this division. You know, they made some really good, obviously George Long, you know, they signed him as, I wouldn't expect him to be first choice, but it is, you know, a decent championship goalkeeper there. Who else have they signed? They've signed some other players. I can't think of many off the top of my head. I swear they've signed a winger. Oh yeah, they have that Swiss guy, Fankschat. Really good attacking winger from FC Basel. Really good transfer window for Norwich. Keeping off Gabriel Sara, Nunes. Absolutely important windows. They did lose Max Aarons, however, but it still is a dub of a window. Next one is Birmingham City. Call me biased, a dub of a window. The only thing I could have said about Birmingham is that we could have had a striker. I'm not doing these in any particular order, by the way, because I just don't want to annoy anybody. Right, but yeah, Birmingham City have had a great window. You know, we've signed so many great players. Ethan Laird, who I think would fit in most championship teams. Suika Dembele, very talented. Bournemouth fans, you know, talking very highly of him. As Cody Dram in that promotion final with Luton, first choice right back, or I believe actually was up there to win man of the match in that game. Loads of good players. Oliver Burke, you know, not an amazing signing, but, you know, still a decent option off the bench. Stansfield, who's already done fantastic for Birmingham so far. You know, obviously signed Christian Bilic, Lee Buchanan. Double window for Birmingham, honestly. Fantastic window. We didn't really lose anybody. I don't think that's massively important. See, Joe Bellingham, I'd have liked to kept him, but I don't think he'd fit in our team anymore. I'm not saying he's not good enough, he just doesn't fit in our system. You know, we don't really play with centre mids. We like to play with DMs and attacking-minded midfielders. Bristol City. Start of the window. They had a very good start to the window. You know, bringing in Jason Knight, Ross McCrory, Rob Dickey. But I think they kind of still lack quite a few players. I think fullback-wise, they look a little bit light after losing Jay Da Silva. I know Kane Wilson didn't play a lot, but they still lost him a good potential right-back. Honestly, I feel like they were missing players, Bristol City, in the transfer market. I know Nigel Pearson came out and he outspoken and wasn't too happy with the transfer activity with Bristol City towards the end of the window. Very quiet. But yeah, they definitely missing players. Having an extra forward or a striker, I feel like was quite important to Bristol City. I feel like maybe adding another midfielder, fullbacks-wise, a right back or a left back, and maybe even potentially a goalkeeper. I know that's something that Bristol City fans do want. Okay, next one we're going to be on to Hull City. In a pretty good window. Hull, you know, Liam Delap, who scored the winner against Leicester City, picked them up a huge win. They signed that former Crystal Palace Congo attacking player. What's his name? He's like Kolke or something. They signed Tyler Morton. They signed Philogene Badice, who's another fantastic player. They didn't really lose anybody. They did lose a few transfer battles, if that makes any sense. You know, they lost the deal with Keenan Davis, which they did agree, but the deal fell through. They lost the deal with Cody Dramere, who went to Birmingham. But yeah, they still had a pretty good window, Hull City. So I'm going to put them either... Right. You know, I think I'm going to put them in the dub window because they did keep the likes of Tufan. They did lose... Actually, no, I'm going to put it down to could have gone better, actually, because they did lose one of their best attacking threats last season in Oscar Estuinan. So, yeah. Okay, Borough. I'm not going to lie. Borough, El Window. Lost Chuba Akpom, their top goal scorer. Lost Cameron Archer, their second top goal scorer. Lost Aaron Ramsey, who was a decent attack-minded player who was up there in terms of their goal contributions. Only Marco Force, I believe, is kept, you know, in the top 4 for their best attacking threats last season. But then again, you can understand where their moves be made. Replacements, I'm not going to lie to you, I can barely remember their names, but I know who they are. They signed a striker from Atalanta, Latti, I believe his name is. They just signed a very odd transfer window, you know, but I couldn't send Dieng, decent goalkeeper, but losing Zach Steffen. I really don't know where to put Borough in this. Obviously losing Ryan Giles was a massive loss. They brought in Seth van den Berg. Honestly, I think I've got to put them in L. They've had an L window because you can't tell me they haven't had a an L window after losing like 3. I know 2 of them on loan, but you know, like they still didn't really replace them. You know, like they brought in a load of other attacking players, but they brought a player from the MLS, you know, Serie A. I hope they do well. He did actually score, I believe, against West Brom, their Atalanta striker. But yeah, I still think they've had an L window, to be honest with you. You know, I still think they need more quality. They seem to went for a lot of the youth players. Next one is Rotherham. Cafu. Not the Brazilian Cafu, the Portuguese Cafu. Played a decent amount of games for Nottingham Forest in the Championship. They also re-signed Tyler Blackett, extended the contracts of Sean Morrison and Johansson, goalkeeper. They also obviously brought in... Who else they brought in? I know they lost Ben Wiles, which is a massive loss to them. Really good player, Ben Wiles. He's gone to Huddersfield. I feel like Rotherham will definitely miss his creative spark. They signed Onyedinma, who seems to be working out really well for them. But I still don't think they still haven't signed that marquee signing. I'm going to put them in the missing players category. I'm going to put them in the missing players category. Queen's Park Rangers. Wow, what a window they've had in terms of like... I don't know, like in terms of like just a little bit bland. You know, like they've signed Morgan Fox. Meh. They signed Jack Colback. Meh. And they signed... I know they signed somebody else. It's my thinking face. Asmir Begovic, which Begovic is actually a really good signing for them. Asmir Begovic. So, in terms of that, they've signed a good depth players. They've lost a load of players, but nobody really that. They've kept Elias Chair and Willock, which I think is huge. Obviously, they kept Sinclair Armstrong as well. That is huge. They also managed to try and offload quite a few Deadwood players, like Charlie Owens. He's went a free agent. They just let go of like a load of, you know, players they didn't really need, you know, like that Deadwood really. Obviously they lost Senny Dieng, who had a really successful spell at QPR, but they brought in, who else they brought on? How else they bring in? They brought in loads of, quality. But Begovic is an amazing goalkeeper, so I'm going to put him in the okay section. So it has been an okay window for QPR. Next one is Watford. Losing Ismail Assar probably ain't going to help them. But then again, he didn't necessarily do that great for them. So Ismail Assar, I still think they're missing quite a few players. They've signed a lot of odd players like they usually do. They signed that Danish striker, Rojovic. They signed some Belgian cam. No, I think he's from Georgia, but they signed him from the Belgian league. Yeah, I still think they're missing players, really. But however, I'm gonna give them a benefit of the doubt and put it in the okay. Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers, another odd window for them. Trunstar, they signed a Swedish goalkeeper. I can't remember his name. I think his name's like Ulfelt or something like that. They also signed a German striker. However, they did lose Brereton Diaz, which then again, we knew that for quite a while, but they did lose Ben Brereton Diaz. We've still got to take that into account. Unfortunately, a lot of their loan players has gone from last season. Tyler Morton wasn't great for them, but still an option. Obviously, striker department is very concerned at the moment for Blackburn. I thought they needed to sign that, main striker like a Tom Cannon, but it didn't end up well for them. But however, they kept a few good players like Adam Wharton, Dominic Hine. So I'm going to put them in the OK section. Plymouth. Honestly, a double window. They've signed so many great players. Lewis Gibson, great young son of Everton. They signed Kesler Hayden, great attacking wing-back. On the right side, they signed Barley Mumba and Morgan Whittaker, both under permanent, two of their best players last season, two of the best youngsters in the league. They didn't lose anybody. Double window, really, honestly, double window. Preston, yeah, they signed some odd players, They signed that Danish player, I can't remember his name, is it like Forgensson or something like that? Attacking minded player, he did that, Jorgensen or something like that. He did actually score, against Sunderland, I believe, in their 2-1 win. But they've done well pressed the transfer market, keeping hold of a lot of their players as well. So I think they've had I think it could have gone better, but I still think they've had a good window. Coventry City, well, they've made some really good signings, but they've lost Hamer and Gyökeres. They signed Haji Wright. They signed Ellis Sims. They signed Van Wyck. They signed someone else as well, whose name goes out my head. I'm not going to be able to think of him, I don't think. Deadline day. He's going to be at Liam Kitchings. They signed him on a permanent. Yeah, I think they've had a good window, but then again, they've lost, both of their best players, so you can't really give it a double window, can you? Because they lost their best players, but I think their sign that they made will turn out well, so I'm going to put them. It could have gone better. It could have. Okay, next one is Huddersfield Town. Honestly, an hell of a window they've had. Despite signing Ben Wiles, Chris Maxwell, they have had a really bad window. They've lacked signings. They've lacked, quality signings anyway. They lack in a lot at the moment, Huddersfield. They've lost a lot of players for the transfer window, a lot of players released. I believe it's 23 players that have left the club, like Etienne Kamara went to Udinese. Blacklick has gone to New York, England, something like that. So I think it has been a bit of an hell of a window for Huddersfield's sake anyway. I think it has definitely been an hell of a window. But yeah, they've lost loads of other players as well, especially on loans like Hungbo. They've lost him. They've lost. Did they lose Scott High? I feel like they did. But yeah, they lost a lot of players, and injuries hasn't been kind to them either. So I think it has been an L window. Stoke City, dub of a window. Loads of signings. I believe they made 16 or 15 signings. Most recent has Kamanovic, who's on loan from Celtic. Luke McNally signed on a loan deal as well from Burnley. They signed Mimine, who's a Moroccan striker from a Greek side. They signed Wesley Morales, which is a great signing from either Levante or Villa. Who else have they signed? Josh Onomar. They've also signed that South Korean attack-minded player as well. So, but then again, they didn't necessarily lose anybody that important, throughout the window. They've kept hold of most of their key players, like Ben Wilmot. They signed a goalkeeper as well, Mark Travers. I think they've had a really double window. Next one is Sunderland. It could have gone better for Sunderland. Like I said, I think they're a little bit lucky towards that the window ended off the way it did. I know Dan Neil was attracting a lot of interest in Premier League clubs. Obviously, the Patrick Roberts deal fell through, and they did lose Ross Stewart, which I know he didn't play a lot for them last season, but he still very helped them when he came in. His record from goals and assists when coming in since he got injured was absolutely incredible. I think he got 10 goal contributions in 6 games. It was unreal, But he's a really good forward player, Ross Stewart. So yeah, I think it could have got better for them. Who else to lose? Obviously, they couldn't help it, but they lost Ahmed Diallo. Obviously, returning back on loan. It could have gone better. It really could have. But then again, it could have gone a lot worse. They signed loads of players like Timothy Pembe, who's a young right back, French. They signed, obviously, Joe Bellingham, great young player. I think he'll do really well for Sunderland. Sunderland fans are starting to like him now because he's starting to adapt. That's the thing, you've got to give players time. I know quite a few Sunderland fans weren't happy with him, but yeah, he's a good player. Next one is West Brom. Considering the financial restraint on their club, they've had a pretty good... They've had... Whoa. What have I done right? Oh, God, what have I done? Whoa, I've had... Oh, God, I'll mess this up. What have I done? Oh, God, oh, dear. Is this going to fix it? No? What has gone on here? What on earth has gone on here? I have no idea what's going on here. Well, I didn't really want to put them in that. Well, why do we have two Borough? I'm so confused what's happened here. Give me a second, I'm going to refresh everything, okay? Entertaining? Yeah, I don't even know what else to do now. West Brom. I think it went okay for West Brom. I really did. I think it went okay. You know, like I said, they did lose Darryl Roche. Massive loss. You know, during that centre-back position. A lot of players were linked to moves away. They managed to keep like Brighton Thomas Sante, brought in Josh Maja, Samantino. I think it went okay for them. Cardiff City, yeah, I think honestly, I think they've had a pretty good win. I think they've had a pretty good window, Cardiff. They've had a pretty good window. Obviously, Aaron Ramsey. They signed that Greek centre-back. Ugbo, Josh Bowler, Panzo on deadline day. They did lose a few players, though. However, they did sign Colin Grant as well. They did lose a few players. Unfortunately, it's a massive loss to them, who was on loan to them last season. Obviously, they lost the likes of Mark Harris, you know, who wasn't necessarily massively influential for them, but he did, you know, score a couple of goals for them. Not a couple, he scored a few goals for them. They also, who else did they lose, Cardiff? I know they lost more players, my mind's gone blank. Sheffield Wednesday, honestly, I would have put them in now before deadline day, but Joe Buckley and Jeff Hendrick really has bumped that up from an L. Experienced championship midfielders they brought in right there. They've signed Ashley Fletcher, Musaba, who's a young striker from Monaco. Obviously, they lost obviously a lot of players as well. You know, well, I don't know, they didn't lose a lot of players. They just lost a lot of players that maybe they didn't like strengthen with. There was a lot of loan players they had. They signed Sean Bernard as well. But yeah, I think they're missing players. Anyway, Southampton, I think they've had another double window. They did really well to keep hold of their players, like Solomana. You know, Che Adams, who was heavily linked to pretty much Premier League clubs all over the window. You know, signed Harwood Bellis. They've signed, you know, Mason Holgate. Didn't have the greatest debut. Who else they signed? Shay Charles, great young midfielder. They've made some great signings, Southampton. They really have. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video on the channel. If you guys have, make sure to like, subscribe. Everybody have a great day. Catch you all soon. See you later, Bill. Have a great day, everybody. Much love.